Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to where energy meets the divine. I'm Manuchehri. I'll be your host for the next hour. Today, I want to talk about your new normal. We're still in massive shifts of energy, astrologically speaking, galactically speaking, consciously speaking, throughout the universes. But of course, a lot of this energy is affecting Earth right now because a lot of the astrological shifts that we have an awareness of are right on Earth. So what is your new normal? What could be your new normal? What I mean by that, what magical, wonderful, amazing, fulfilling, incredible things could be your new normal? As many of you may remember, I'm a fan of curious, positive, what if questions. I do sell decks on my website. You can make your own though. You can just get some 3x5 cards and write down some wonderful what if questions. I believe that using language like what if works a million, that could be an exaggeration, but a million times better than positive affirmations. I think if you're going to affirm something, you need to already believe in it to really send energy and power with positive affirmations. If you don't believe in something that you're trying to affirm, it could take years for your brain to finally believe that you deserve this thing that you're affirming. The ego is very adaptable to curiosity, but not so much to affirming something you don't believe in. If you don't believe in it, the ego just kicks it out of your brain. But if you use a positive, curious, what if question, the ego gets excited about anything that has to do with curiosity and will actually help you to manifest, co-create, get into the vibration of that question. And that's what curious, positive, what if questions do. They recalibrate your energy to match the solution. So there are layers of solutions. Like whatever vibration you're living in now, you are connected to a certain source of solutions. You may like these solutions, you may not like these solutions, but it depends on your vibration. So if you don't like parts of your life, it's because where you're vibrating your energy, you're attracting options, potential outcomes based on the frequency. And as we know, the higher your vibration is, the better the solutions are. And what helps people to have high vibrational energy is happiness. Positive, curious, what if questions repeated, either silently or out loud, recalibrate your energy. So it gets your subatomic particles to go from the vibration that you're in, because if you're using a positive what if question, you clearly want something that you don't have right now. Like, what is my incredible, magical new normal? That's a great what if question. And it starts in the brain. So even when people ask negative what if questions, which they do normally, humans are always asking negative questions in their brain, and then they're creating a vibrational frequency to get solutions and outcomes that are connected to that negative vibration or lower frequency. So you say a positive what if question. What is my new fabulous magical normal? Your brain's subatomic particles are going to start to run faster, like calibrate, move in a direction to where the solutions would be, the outcome, the energy, the opportunities, based on how these particles, subatomic particles, ramp up in your brain to match new magical normal. And then once the particle mass has been spinning for a couple minutes or so, which it will, if you can say that question and kind of detach or be in the vibration of that question and with enjoyment, or repeat the question for several minutes, then the blood-brain barrier that's, between the brain and the rest of your body begins to take those subatomic particles into the rest of your physical form and starts calibrating the rest of your anatomy and physiology to match where your brain has been, which then allows you, because we're always attracting outcomes and experiences and situations based on the subatomic vibration in our physical form. So you start attracting solutions, more prosperous answers, more incredible opportunities. They just keep coming to you and coming to you and coming to you. And then you get to choose what makes you happy, or what feels the best, or what seems most interesting. So now would be a great time to start using quite a bit of positive, curious, high vibrational questions like, what if my body is happy? That's my favorite one for health. I think when people have had significant kind of chronic health issues, it would be important for them to not use the word health or wellness or healing, because that could push their buttons that lowers their vibration, because in their mind, they're going, well, I'm not healthy right now. Or, this part of my body is not well. But happiness, when a body is happy, it's healthy. So be creative, find language that's really interesting for you as you're creating curious what if questions, or you can always go to my website, energyintuitive.com, and get a deck of what if cards, which we will send to you promptly, and begin to utilize them in your life. Here's another one. What if my reality begins to look like my wildest dreams come true? That's a great what if question. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the phone lines. This is my tip for today. And I hope that you utilize these gorgeous questions, because we are in a time of new realities. It's time for us to change our belief systems. Now that Neptune has moved into Aries, we all are going to change our belief systems. We're going to move out of the dreamy Pisces state, which can be super fun and kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as well. And we're going to move into the Aries, which is more direct. It's about beginnings. It's about moving forward. It's going to be very fun. It's about being unique and a pioneer in one's life too. So this is the perfect time for you to raise your vibration, to link up to new realities. That means changing your perception about life in general. There are so many different levels of potential outcomes and experiences, and you enter them based on your vibration. You stay in them based on your vibration. You exit them based on your vibration, whether you go down or up. If you're continuing to move your frequency upward, then again, you're in a completely different reality as well. And that's healthy. That's what we want. And the more people who start to experience the world from different perceptions, then we can collectively help humanity expand its energy so that more people are lifted up into different realities, so that whatever they've experienced so far in their lifetime that they don't like or appreciate, it can go away and not be part of their experience, and they can have a completely different outcome. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to the phone lines and start answering questions. If you want to leave a question, just know that it takes me a while to get to the questions. In other words, we have a lot in the queue, but I will eventually get to it. And here we go.
Hi, Marie. My name's Vani. I'm calling from Perth in Australia. I started your energy courses back in 2021 and I fell in love. I loved the chakra cleanses. I loved the multisensory experiences, the higher vibrations, the learning, everything, just the sheer expansion of my soul. At this time, I started having so many awakenings. I developing abilities that I didn't even know I had, like channeling and healing and astral projection and past life psychic visions and things like that. It was such a beautiful time for me. As I kept doing your energy courses and my vibrations kept rising, I started to have astral experiences with a past life lover, my twin flame. These were amazing experiences. Often I had have them during your course sessions, and actually they were physically healing my body, which was amazing for me. It was a little bit complicated because I was still in a messy marriage and hadn't worked out when or how to leave with my young child. After some time, I actually met my past life lover here on the earthly plane, and things continued to be amazing. We both were developing so many mystical abilities every time we met one another. Things were unfolding with grace and ease, effortlessly. And then suddenly, before I was necessarily ready to leave my marriage, a portal opened up and I began to see light everywhere, and the whole world just became much more malleable, and I started hearing from many more guides. But at the same time, with such an influx of energy, I found it difficult to follow my intuition and act in the speed that was required for such a high vibration. So what started out as a beautiful set of mystical experiences then began to become a set of mystical tests where portals kept opening. But if I didn't act on my intuition fast enough and get everything right, I would sustain damage to my light body. Ascension energies would drain away. It even seemed like my kundalini got shoved back down the base of my spine. So the bottom of my spine kept hurting for a very long time. And things became quite difficult. At this point, and I also began to lose my energy abilities. So at this point, Marie, I mean, I'm considering perhaps starting a course in kinesiology to hopefully regain some of my abilities. I'm considering doing your psychic course next year as well to regain some of my abilities. Unfortunately, the psychic course and the kinesiology course do clash. And also, though I'm with my past life lover and it is amazing, I am considering returning to my toxic ex because I didn't know that he would come and take so much custody of my daughter. And being a mother has been my greatest wish in life. And I don't know how to step into my joy as you teach us to without raising my daughter and having her there with me. But it does put me in danger with my toxic ex. If you have any advice or see any red flags with my living and study plans, please do let me know, Marie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vani from Australia. I don't know if you got it, if you took the psychic class or not. I know I just finished one, but I hope whatever courses you're taking are working for you. This is what happened. You fell into the ego. So which is fear. Not, oh, I'm amazing, I'm wonderful. That's not egotistical. It's normal to feel authentically great about oneself, but you got scared because the universe has never asked me to jump through hoops or I'm going to damage my energy. It has never said that to me. It only kind of goes with my own pace and encourages me to love myself and take my time and take a nap if I want to. I have never, ever been shown that I need to do certain things or I'm going to have damage to my light body. I think that was just fear. And whenever anyone is experiencing fear, that's the ego. That will never be the other side. The other side doesn't even have the word damage in its vocabulary. So you got scared. That means you were doing beautifully. And then you probably became afraid of your magnificence. You're like, wow, I'm just so much even more cooler than I thought I was going to be. And it scared you and you started to lower your vibration and then you could hear your ego. Because when your vibration is elevated, it's really hard to hear the ego. It's so nice to be in the quiet. Yeah, it's so nice to be in the quiet. So in saying all of that, of course, your child's father is going to have some custody. Even here in the United States, they recommend 50-50. But if you start to authentically raise your vibration again and stop listening to fear, because I do not recommend you going back into a toxic relationship. So what happened is you were raising your vibration, raising, having fun, and you got scared. This is all from you. This is not from the universe. And it's not like you did something wrong. This is something great to learn, that if negative thoughts start to come into your awareness, you're not going to feel the alignment of the divine, and you're going to start to lower your vibration and have less multisensory or spiritual experiences. This is normal. This is what would happen to anyone. It has happened to a lot of people, actually, even some famous people or people who were, at least I think they were famous in terms of some of the work that they did. And then they got scared and they fell backwards. They started to do weird things that were all fear dominated, all fear. So the law is, if you go into your ego, which is only one thing, fear, you're going to disrupt your alignment. So that's what happened. But if you can get back into it and, in this case, ignore any fear, The universe would never say, oh, you got to get through this portal or you're going to have damage to your light body. It would never, ever say that to you because it's not true. You can't damage your light body. It's light, it's energy, it's subatomic particles. There's nothing that can damage it. So, but if you can do that, get back to where you were by not listening to your brain, because remember, the ego resides in the brain, and that's why it's drenched in fear. You could even get more custody of your child. You'll have more opportunities to have her. A lot of positivity can come from that experience if you get out of the fear. And you're in a lot of fear right now, so you have some work to do. The Kundalini will rise back up. You'll start to have more experiences. But when you start to have fearful actions or effects, just know that's your ego trying to scare the gajibis out of you, because the ego does not want us to merge and to expand in consciousness. Here's how I like to look at the ego, because I get a lot of questions about it. Why do we have it? What's wrong with us? I do believe that the human race, and so it doesn't mean all of us, because we may not have been in a human body when it happened, but I think the human race had a moment. Maybe they got really scared collectively and had kind of what I call a fall from grace, which is not true. Like, there's just like, you still are, Vani, if I'm saying your name correctly, precious and wonderful and galactically connected and have multisensory abilities. Even though you're not feeling them right now, they haven't disappeared. They haven't gone away. They won't. They're an integral part of you, but you can't sense them or feel them or have them in your sights when your energy's low. So something happened to the human race where they stopped the vibration of their energy system and lowered it. They got into their egos. Like, maybe the ego was so little and so small, and probably what was going to happen is that the entire Earth was going to move into another dimension and be a completely different type of planet, a completely different type of energy function. And a bunch of people got scared because they didn't know what's going to happen to their bodies or their energy system. They got scared and lowered their vibration. And we've had what's called this fall from grace, where then we got stuck in our ego. And we're working on it right now. So it's not a bad thing. It's just another opportunity to learn. There's just different realities that offer different experiences to grow and expand our consciousness. And the humanness, is about letting go of fear. And oddly enough, when you live in a physical reality, the fear is logical in terms of your physical body could be injured. Your resources could deflate. You could lose a job. Like, there's all these things that trigger the ego and help us, unfortunately, to step away from our alignment and our consciousness and the real solutions that could be astronomically effective for us. So I think you need to go back to the drawing board. Certainly you can take reflexology or whatever, but notice that when you go into fear, your job is to ignore it. And that means be very loving, nurturing, and kind to yourself. Like, honey, I love you. I know this is scary right now, but everything's okay. We're going to ignore this. Get present. Go find something to focus on that's gorgeous. Right now, outside of my window, there's a beautiful plant that's going to bloom stunning pink flowers with really thick green leaves. It's stunning. And as I'm talking to all of you, I peek out to that plant and stay in the present moment and allow my vibration to rise up. So that's your homework assignment, because you were on the right track. You were having so much fun. That is the recipe for success. So, or whatever words people want to use, fulfillment, passion, purpose. That's the recipe. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. This is Jess from Wyoming. I had a question about something interesting that happened to me last night. I'm not sure if I was sleeping and dreaming this or if it actually happened. I woke up, I'm not sure, in my bed, and looked up, and I could see golden glowing orbs all over the ceiling. Very bright, very beautiful. And I remember saying, wow, like, what is happening? And then I had the feeling of my spirit kind of pulling upwards out of my body. And it became so intense that I
stopped
either snapped myself out of the situation or I woke up.
Yeah, I stopped it.
And once I came out of that experience, I just laid there wondering, what the heck was that? It was so amazing. I'm not sure what those golden glowing orbs were, but they were beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was just hoping for some insight. Thank you so much for listening.
You're welcome, Jess. What a cool experience. So when it happens again, don't stop it. I don't care if it feels like your body's going to be pulled apart. It will not be. We are talking about the intervention of divine beings who have no desire to cause harm of any kind to us. So you were feeling your energy. So all these golden orbs of light. We're very high vibrational healers, seekers, seers, very high vibrational. And they came to help you with a transmission and a movement to calibrate your energy so it could run faster so that you can have more of these divine experiences, which you have been begging for, by the way. So you ordered this. I can just literally see you on the phone calling heaven. Okay, I ordered this. I'm so excited. Thank you for bringing it to me. And then when it comes, you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? You're scared. Fear. That is the ego. It is an illusion. It is not real. It is not to be followed. So if it were me, I would say, rip me to shreds, which I know wouldn't happen at all. I mean, I wouldn't even probably say that, but if I were you, when I wasn't sure of the experience, I would say, it's okay. This feels so good. Just rip me to shreds, which they aren't going to do. So allow it to happen again. Invite the universe back. Say, I'm ready to have some more extensive upgrades of my consciousness and my wellness, my multisensory abilities. I'm ready. Thank you. I don't care how or when or why you do it, but you're welcome. I won't stop you again. I know I'm scared, but I'm going to let it move forward. That's what I would do. Great question.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'm from Rochester, New York. I am wondering if you can give me a mediumship reading. My brother passed away 7 months ago. I wonder if he has any message for me. If you can't get a connection with him, I have another question about my shoulder. I had surgery on my left shoulder about 13 years ago for a torn labrum. Currently, I have arthritis in the shoulder and have been told by my orthopedic doctor that I will eventually need a replacement. Is there anything I can do to delay the surgery? Do you have any other recommendations for me? Thank you.
Hi, Mark. I'm sorry about your shoulder. I'm going to answer both of your questions for you. Your brother, he's been playing a little bit. I didn't know who he was, but he's been in the room playing a little bit, almost like hide and seek, as if there's big pillars across from me and he's standing like his full height behind these pillars and like looking at me, almost like he's shy or a little embarrassed that his family loves him so much. Sometimes people don't realize how much they're loved until they cross over and they witness funerals and memorials and hear their loved ones, missing them and wishing they were here. And it can be very overwhelming because we don't teach a lot about self-worth. We don't teach a lot about, emotional connections. Like in my family, we tell each other every time we see or talk to each other that we love each other. Every single time. It's a lot, actually, a lot. And not just my children and grandchildren, but even my siblings, the ones I connect with and communicate with, we tell each other every single time that we love each other, every single time. So a lot of people don't have that emotional connection within their family dynamics. And so you can only imagine what it's like when you cross over and you just feel all this. You can not only feel it, you can see it, you can hear it. Like people who've crossed over have full access to our world. They don't have limitations. They don't need a medium. So your brother, is playing this peekaboo, but he's going to come out in a little bit. He mostly his message is to you. And I would not say he was a great communicator, by the way, because he does all these interesting ways to express himself. Like now he's just rolled down a rolled up, piece of paper, and it has messages that I'm going to read. Like people have very unique ways. The most common route for communicating with those who live on the other side is mental telepathic conferencing. So they just drop the information in your brain, not just the words, but the feelings, colors, lights, smells. Brother's not doing that. Although in a way he is. I can see the pillars. I can see him. He doesn't want you to worry about him. That bothers him. And he doesn't want it to bother you. Shoulders are all about burdens. Please don't listen to your surgeon. I mean, let's just, again, I love every aspect of all medicine because certain things work for different people. And if you ever need surgery, great. It's on the back burner or it's in the cupboard. It's an available option for you. But I think you can do some near infrared red light therapy like platinum therapy or red rush. So there are panels. You can get a small one. They have big ones too. And you just beam the light on you for 10 minutes twice a day or 20 minutes once a day, whatever is recommended. There's a wonderful book. I've put it into the the link at the bottom of the YouTube page before. I will ask my assistant to put it for this time as well, because it talks about these two products. They're my favorite for near infrared and red light therapy, and how to use them and how quickly to work up to using them. Like, some people shouldn't start off at 20 minutes. Maybe you should start off with 5 minutes. And some serapeptase, as long as you don't take any anticoagulants like blood thinners. Serapeptase is this really cool prophylactic digestive enzyme, and it breaks up proteins. And a lot of people have proteins stored in their joints, and it can lead to joint pain. It's very interesting. So also know that any form of arthritis is about childhood, learning to let go, not repressing your emotions about experiences that happened in your childhood. That would be lovely. But yeah, your brother blows you a kiss and winks at you. So that was very fun to witness. Thank you.
This is Maxine. I'm in Southern Oregon. My question today is, all right, so I'm not going to die. I'm going to live a bit longer and do something that feels selfish because it's what my soul really wants to do. I've been doing things, but always, with the old soul idea of, oh, this will help people and that I'm worthless, and such bad ideas I've had since childhood. Mother was narcissistic and, doing that whole pattern. Dad was drinking too much, and so he wasn't behaving right when he was drinking, although he did get some sobriety years and, was more himself when he was sober. And I'm sober 38 years now. I really enjoy being sober and praying and everything, but I still have a pretty bad idea about myself. I'm trying to, I'm 70 now, I'm trying to deal with what's making my scalp skin so bad, flaky, itchy, and and I'm tired and been changing my diet for the better, off sugar really now quite a while, but so I have some hopes, but I'm wondering if you can see anything energetically to recommend for me to focus, to do something that's authentic, like, from my higher self, which would also be good for other people. If you can see, of course, I have done some things in the past, but can you see something that I'm blind to, perhaps? I have cats. I have 2 kittens now, and they're little monsters. I wished that I'd gotten a breed that was more compassionate, but the monsters are lovely and make me laugh, so I'm making the best of these 2 kittens. And living in subsidized housing, and I'm grateful for that. I love my home. And just trying to pay attention to your teachings for real now, because I think that what you have to say is right, basically, and very much in line with what I've experienced is true. So thank you for being there. Thank you for doing this. I hope you can give me some pointers and that you can hear me so that I can hear you back.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Maxine. So a couple of things. One, when someone says they've been sober 38 years, it reminds me of AA, which of course is a great organization. It's free. People can go get off alcohol or narcotics or things of that nature. But like, you've been sober for 38 years. Let's just not even talk about it anymore. It's like done. It would be kind of like someone saying, I haven't eaten sugar for 38 years, which of course would be a great accomplishment. But it's AA, their program, which again, I appreciate, but it keeps people in perpetual self-criticism, that you're bad, you're not a good person, and you've got to work harder to be good. And so at some point, when someone gets off alcohol and drugs, if that's the only way that they can choose and it's effective for them, great. But then eventually, and we're like many years behind the 8 ball here, we've got to get out of this self, unkind conversation that unfortunately this organization supports, because it's what they believe that has helped a lot of people to become sober, which could be true. But eventually you have to let go of self-deprecating, language. It's just not healthy for anyone. So a lot of internal dialogue, like Maxine, you're amazing. I'm proud of you. I love you every day for the rest of your life. Quite a bit of internal conversation. And you're right. I don't want you to pick something to help other people. If you pick something that authentically brings you joy, I promise you it will help other people. It will. That's just a universal law, but it needs to be authentically joyful for you first. So I think art would be great for you. And art has many different platforms. It could be pottery, it could be watercolors, oil, encaustic work, weaving, knitting, crocheting, writing, all of these things. I think if you can immerse yourself in artwork, you're going to either discover something really cool about yourself within the art world, or it will lead you to something really cool about yourself. Like the art will set you free, so to speak. So that's what I think. Oh, and about the scalp and the skin, bioidentical hormones. So bioidentical hormones are plant-based. They're not hormones. They're plants that mimic the hormones that we have in our body. And it literally, when you take bioidentical hormones, it does elevate hormone levels, but that's what's creating the dryness in your skin and your scalp. So I would, see if you're a good candidate for that. Find a naturopathic physician. You live in a state that's great for licensed naturopathic physicians. In fact, there is a naturopathic school in Oregon, and a lot of them offer, highly discounted services while they're training their new future physicians, doctors. They have a clinic typically, and under the supervision of their teachers, their professors, they can work on people and offer supplements and all kinds of good things like bioidentical hormones from a compound pharmacy. That's what you need. Okay.
Hi, Marie. My name is Eileen. I lost my 33-year-old daughter, Whitney, almost 7 years ago. And since then, I've immersed myself into every aspect of how to understand the afterlife, and I've tried many avenues of exploration to get there. This includes mediumship sessions, hypnotherapy, Reiki, cranial sacral therapy, and eventually ketamine therapy.
Interesting.
Some of these have helped a lot, especially the mediumship, which truly gave me and my family a place to settle and feel some comfort. She's come through very clearly each time.
Yeah.
Has plenty to say to help us along in our lives. She's been very aware of all our goings on and offers advice to all of us. The ketamine therapy gave me an experience with my daughter.
Wow.
Where we were merging ourselves together in a way that had me feeling like I was her and she was me.
Wow.
She set us up in a pink jelly bean shaped room with glittery particles floating around us. And we floated or flew around in this space that was surrounded by other beings who also felt very familiar. I felt her spirit so much, and later was able to ask a medium about it. And my daughter said that she created this experience for us.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm very grateful for this peek into her environment.
Yeah.
But I want to do these things without the help of mediumship and drugs. At first I was told that I was probably being blocked by grief and that I could eventually get through and be able to connect with her. I have small ways to connect that I feel work, like talking to her while I walk in the woods. And I do notice birds and wildlife coming to me in unexpected ways.
That's
and
cool.
Have very infrequent but great dreams with her in them or visits from her. And I try to work on my meditation. I'm not great at it, but I do practice yoga regularly. And I'm impatient for a breakthrough.
Right.
Can you see a time where I can be more clearly connected to her, or do you have any advice for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. And I'm so sorry about your daughter's passing. I truly am. And I'm grateful that you had her for 33 years. I'm so grateful. Because you know what? Nobody knows how long someone's going to stay here. It's really between, I'm sure you already know, the soul of the human being that's here and creation, God, source, the universe. That's who's having the conversation and making the decision about how long they're going to be here and how they're going to go. all of those things. So I want you to start changing your perception. This is crucial because you want to start living more fully in the multisensory world. Ketamine sounds so scary to me. But what the drug allowed you to do is to let go. So you know you have these capabilities, but you have to get into the act of surrender. And your daughter has very different energy than the gentleman that I spoke to during this podcast, the young man who passed away when I was talking to his brother, Mark's brother, I believe. Her energy is very outgoing, a little pushy, quite frankly, loud, huge. She has very large energy, as if she's like moving furniture around the room all the time. It's loud, it's big, it's active. So if you can change your perception, you've already had the breakthrough. You've already had the jelly bean, pink, beautiful marshmallow type experience. Wonderful. That's amazing. If you could start to change your perception that you've already had a breakthrough, that you're already having these experiences. I know there was drugs involved or a medium or something of that nature, but you've got to change your perception, because as long as you have a perception that you haven't had a breakthrough, you're not really allowing the universe to be fully effective with you and helping you to have more experiences with her. You've got to change your perception. Everything is about perception. Everything is. The second part to this answer for you is that she may not come around as often as you wish. I know she's your daughter, but where she is right now, she sees herself so much more than that. She doesn't see herself as a daughter or a friend or a sibling. She is pure, vibrant energy, and she's having all kinds of experiences. I mean, this world could not contain her. So you can only imagine how her energy is playing and swaying and learning and diving and exploring all over the multisensory world. So if you could get comfortable in letting yourself be surprised, the few people in my life that I feel a connection with who've crossed over, because I talk to a lot of departed people, very few of them are related to me or people that I knew personally. And occasionally I even see those individuals. In fact, the other day I was in another office doing more administrative work, and I just had this kind of auric feeling. I just kind of felt surrounded by white light, and I knew someone dead was going to be walking toward me. And so I'm writing, and I look up, and I couldn't see the person, and it was a male. I could see their clothes, could see part of their hair. And then as he got closer and closer, I knew exactly who it was. It was a client of mine who passed away maybe 8 or 9 years ago. I'd seen him many, many, many times. I would also say he was probably one of the most complicated client / health issue type experience that I had in my practice. Maybe because I saw him so many times too. So I'm like, why is he coming? Of course I'm saying hi. And people who have crossed over can read your mind. They know what you're thinking. They know what you're thinking. They know what you're going to say before you're going to say. So of course I said hi, and I was so surprised to see him. And honestly, I'd forgotten a lot about his life because I, hadn't interacted with him in a long period of time. He just came to thank me, which I couldn't really take in at that moment for some reason, because I'm in my brain, why is he here? And oh yeah, I forgot about his kids. And oh yeah, he had a really amazing career. Like, ooh, interesting. So he came back around the next morning just to tell me thank you, which was extremely kind and nothing that I've ever requested or needed when doing this work. So you've got to let go a little bit. You've got to surrender. You've got to be okay being present with your own life, because that's what she wants for you. She says, Mom, get your act together, start having fun like I'm having fun, so that when you cross over, we have a lot to talk about. That's what she says. So if you can change your perception about the breakthrough, it's already happened. Because if you can be in that vibration, even though you want more of a breakthrough, I understand that I'm not saying you can't have that, but you've got to change. If you can change your energy that you've already had a breakthrough, you're going to attract more experiences. They're going to be more fulfilling, and you won't need drugs. Everything's about perception, everything. Imagine what the US would be like if the majority of Americans believed that a woman could run a country, be powerful and effective, because we clearly do not have that belief system. We don't have that perception. The majority of Americans don't perceive that. Even when someone's been the vice president, even when someone's, been the Secretary of State, we don't believe that. We don't. So maybe that's changing now. Maybe people are going, would have been nice if we had a woman in the office right now. Maybe people are actually starting to change their perception. Everything vibrates and is created based on perception. So you've already had your breakthrough. That could be a great what if question. What if I've had numerous breakthroughs and I am on track? I'm in alignment. And then you can let go and be present. And then she can do one thing that she really likes to do anyway, is surprise you. But you're looking for it. You're staring for it. It's like you're pushing it away because your stare is out of desperation. And I understand. I haven't lost a family member that I have feelings for like you have for your daughter. So I'm sure it's a lot more challenging, but you're here now. And if you can be happy here now, authentically, even though she's not standing next to you most of the time, she will stand next to you. But she has a lot to do over there. Then I think you can have the same sort of fulfillment you had with the jelly bean pink marshmallow, because I keep feeling a marshmallow experience that you had. That's what could happen. That, which is way more fulfilling than little pieces here and there. The few friends / family who come to visit me, they come at the most opportune time, say the most cool and engaging things that touch my heart deeply for years and years. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to do one more.
Hi, Marie. My name is Rosemary. I am from Chile, South America, but now I'm living in South Carolina, United States. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with the world. Can you please do a scan energy to my body? Thank you so much. I love your podcast. Bye.
Scan. Okay, so for those of you listening, when I do a scan, and I don't have to see the person, I don't have to touch them. I can certainly draw their energy, which I might do with Rosemary, but I was just told unnecessary. Like I don't need to draw out her energy, which I think is cool. That means I'm going to pick up something that's important for her, but it may not be what she thought or wanted. I don't know. And as a healer and an intuitive, I don't care about that. I know that sounds, not very nice. I don't care what people want. I do, but I want to provide what intuitively is in the best interest for them. So as I'm looking at Rose's energy system, it's as if a part of her is in my office and I can see your auric field. Rose, your auric field is actually really quite good. You've got a nice, busy, positive moving auric field, a little bit of a leak in the back portion. It's a very light leak, almost like a fog coming off the 6th layer of your auric field, which is all about, psychic ability or intuition. And that's the field of the paranormal, if you will, and our relationship to it. It's about seeing everyone as an equal. That's one of the doorways that gets us into the psychic world. So you have this light mist that is a leak coming off of that 6th layer of the auric field, but the rest of it looks great. You have a really great auric functioning. The first layer of your auric field is gorgeous. It's a hologram. All of them are the first layers, and all of your anatomy and physiology is circulating very nicely. And then I look at the top of your head. I'm drawn to the top of your head in the 7th chakra, and energy is coming in, but it's coming in really hard. I'm like, does she get headaches? Do you feel a lot of stress or tension in your neck or your head? Because it's like, almost like a thunderbolt, but constant. I want to see constant energy moving in through the top of the head, the 7th vortex, but I like it to be softer and golden in color, not crashing down. It's very fascinating. So I'm actually doing a little bit of work on your connection to the 7th layer. I think, Rosemary, what has happened is that maybe you had some teachings, some spiritual teachings that were maybe religiously based that have a fear factor in them. If you did, I would highly recommend that you mediate that you find different ways to understand spirituality. You can still hold on to your religious beliefs, whatever they might be, if you have them. But don't make them so harsh, because remember, books like the Bible have been translated hundreds of thousands of times by humans, not angels, not God. They have been, some people are very drawn to them and they find them very healing and fulfilling. And I think that's lovely. That's who those books need to be read by, the people who feel healed and in a high vibration and a high frequency, not from a negative perspective, not from a judgmental perspective. I'm not saying that you have that perspective going on. I feel like there's a fear dominance going on, and it's not good for your energy system. In fact, as I'm looking at your body and reading it, the mist that was coming off of the 6th layer of the auric field has dissipated, and now you're taking energy into your psychic abilities. So find a way. Maybe you don't keep the Bible too close to you if you have a copy in the house. Find a way where you can still hold on to the sacredness of whatever teachings you've experienced, but the softness of the unconditional love that is the true teachings of any form of religion or spirituality. It's just been unfortunately translated out. Just like when I look at the Quran, I know God did not say an eye for an eye, but that's what it says in the Quran. But that's not true. God would never say that. So that's what I'm talking about. Thank you for letting me scan your energy. And thank you, everyone. Have a gorgeous day. I'm recording today on the 2nd of April. This will be put up tomorrow on the 3rd. And I hope that you're having incredible, beautiful, joyful blessings. And if you're interested in taking classes from me, please visit energyintuitive.com. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.